Hey y'all, welcome to a little behind the scenes sneak peek footage. Full disclosure, today is Tuesday and usually that would be a day I'd be sitting and filming like one of my regular videos, usually 3 to 4 of my regular videos, and I am at like a video shortage right now, like I really need that footage. Unfortunately, this is the second day it's been raining here in a row, which means that this puppy has not gotten enough outside time and she is zooming in my house, she's picking up things she knows she's not supposed to be picking up and destroying them. There's just no way I could film with her like that because I couldn't give her enough attention or like focus. And also there's like very limited ability for me to work on other things when she's like that because I pretty much have to be watching her all the time. So I thought we would do a change in plans and I'd try doing a little bit of like a vlogging thing while keeping an eye on her. So we're trying to be adaptable right now and we're going to attempt to do like a read what you own vlog while I keep her company and keep her from destroying everything in the world. Bex Reads has a group of people that sort of do an Unstuff Your Kindle event every month where they do a themed thing for what they're going to try to read that month. But April is one of the months where they don't have a theme and I thought it would be fun this year at least to try April showers and like a water theme. So I'm looking at my books right now. We're starting from most recent collection all the way down to oldest. Okay, so I'm about 4 pages of scrolling in and I have come across Dreamwalker by Dima Zales and Anna Zayers. I'm counting this as April showers because there's lightning on the cover and that's sort of like a storm-themed element. Something I want to point out about this book just off jump is both of the authors here appear to be white. Took a little bit of digging for me to find that out. I feel like they should have made that a little bit more obvious if they were going to put a darker skinned person on the cover. This is one of the ebooks that I picked up for free. I have some reservations about reading a POC main protagonist character from 2 white authors, but I think what I'm going to do for this challenge is read the first sentence, and if that intrigues me, I'll move it on to the next round for reading a whole chapter before we see what I'm going to ultimately pick up. I will say it feels like a bad look to me when authors try to obscure their nationality while using like a fictional POC character front and center to sort of like suggest diversity where maybe there isn't. But because this is an urban fantasy book with like a noir detective-y kind of girl trying to solve a case, I can see a world where this is more like colorblind casting, maybe a world without like that inherent discrimination, where we just get to view a cast of diverse characters all being treated equally. And I can see value in the yes and element of that, even if this isn't necessarily like an own voices kind of story. So first sentence here is, I swallow a droplet of diluted vampire blood. That is an interesting thing to introduce on the first page. I'll give them credit there. I'm going to go ahead and tentatively give this like a B plus on intrigue and move it into the read the first chapter category. Okay, so next contender is going to be Echoes of Angels by Matt Larkin and J.S. Morin. There's one little lightning bolt in the city skyline. And this one is categorized as a space opera science fiction adventure, and dystopian science fiction. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to count the first line because there's an epigraph here by Dr. Rachel Jordan, lectures at New Rome University, which seems like an in-world textbook or in-world speech that happened. I think I'm going to do what I prefer to do reading-wise, skip this epigraph entirely and just go to the first line. Out beyond the edge of imperial space, one could almost pretend the days of glory had never happened. This is like a C minus line. I'm gonna leave it in the contender pool for now. Okay, so next I found Hammered by Lindsay Buroker. Again, this one has lightning on the cover. It looks sort of like a lightning storm going on, so this is significantly better fitting my prompt of April showers. The first line is gonna be, I didn't think police chalked outlines anymore, and this is part of a dialogue tree. I'm gonna go ahead, give this a B minus. More interested in the drop of vampire blood so far, but this is sort of close second, kind of urban fantasy detective kind of thing. Next is Renegade Refuge, Bringing Home Chaos by Chris D.W. Wiley. It's got both storm clouds and the thunder in the background. First line, my hands were covered in blood. Probably like a C, maybe even a C minus. I just feel like that starts me off sort of edgy, but it doesn't really like hit as hard as some other things would. And then I have Island X by Dean Jarvis. I love this cover because it's got a T-Rex on the front, so I just think it's going to be a fun Jurassic Park kind of shenanigan sort of thing. But it also has those storm clouds and the thunderbolt in it, so it's fitting my April theme. Unfortunately, this book has a foreword, which I never really advocate for, especially in something that's as short as this, which is like 121 pages. The first line here is going to be, Roost, this is Connor 1. We are now entering the pipe. Not a fan. This is going to be probably a D tier. So I think I'm gonna start by reading chapter 1 of Dreamwalker and seeing if that's any good. And then whichever one is the best one we'll download to the Kindle and actually read for realsies. Okay, just finished chapter 1 of Dreamwalker. It has both some interesting things and some things where I'm like way too much. Come to find out, the one drop of diluted vampire she's drinking is intentional because vampire blood can act like a stimulant and keep you awake and more alert. There are some other side effects which let me know that this book is for adults because some of them involve like euphoria as well as like a heightened sexual appetite. She's able to mitigate these unexpected side effects by stabbing herself, which again shows what an edgy book this is. She's in the middle of attempting to do a heist, but the only reason she's trying to steal anything is for the big money payoff to pay her mom's medical bills, which is like all too real right now in America. All that stuff is kind of fun and interesting, but then they start to go into some other things that feel a little bit like overload. Like, for example, she has like a furry best friend familiar that looks like a furry bracelet wrapped around her arm. In some way, that thing is connected to her and is a mood bracelet for her own moods and interpretations for changing color as she manages to like be excited or unexcited, which just feels like a lot to throw at me, especially because their relationship is apparently uncommon. If she dies, it dies. There's like a whole bunch of stuff. I was like, wow, that was overload. And then on top of that, we get that we're here on Earth, and this Earth that we're on has like vampires and stuff, but also she is from another world or plane or something, and laws are different across planes and all this other crap. I was like, wow, this is a lot. I think it could still be a fun, action-packed adventure, but right now I'm going to tentatively bring its grade down to like a C, C-, and it's a definite maybe in continuing past chapter 1. That's going to bring me over to Hammered. So now let's read chapter 1 of Hammered. I've got a few mixed feelings about chapter 1 of Hammered, but I think I like it better than the other book I just read. This one is apparently about a half-dwarf demolition renovationist, and it seems like she's gotten into some supernatural shenanigans that are unexpected. I find her assistant to be annoying. She talks like Starfire from Teen Titans, and that just grates on my nerves. I get it's supposed to be like a way to show like an alien, non-human kind of feeling, but it's so annoying. And if this girl is going to college classes, even if she's going to them virtually, and if she's living on Earth, plans to live on Earth and be an architect and all that kind of stuff, she needs to like adjust and get with the program. She does not need to just keep being so weird and awkward. But the dwarf lady is cool. The fact that she has this hammer from her mom who is full dwarf and she's also half human is kind of cool. The unusual job seems like it's fun and has chances for hijinks. The introduction of a high elf when they don't usually live on Earth and are supposed to be long gone is cool. The werewolf shifters getting murdered shows there's going to be a certain level of intensity. And the fact there was a murder in this house previously also kind of intriguing, since there's now all this violence going on around the house while they try to renovate it. I think I'm going to give it a C, C+ rating and move it ahead of the other book is one I'll potentially read. Chapter 1 of Echoes of Angels didn't give me a great idea of what's going on in it at all. It felt very vague techno fantasy babble to me. Now it is supposed to be a space opera, so that's not entirely unexpected. What I was able to glean from it, though, that our main character has some kind of like psychic ability or empathetic ability where she can read other people's emotions, is engaging. The fact that it looks like she wants to get to the edge of space outside of whatever the angels are area of control. Perhaps they're literal angels, I don't know at this juncture. is a goal that suggests we're going to do something kind of like Star Wars Rebellion-y, and I think I'm okay with that. The ship she's on is about to be boarded by Sentinels, and we want to see why they're searching and what happens with what they find. So I think this is probably like a C as far as chapter 1 goes, but like my curiosity or willingness to keep reading it is probably going to elevate it up to like a B kind of level. Because there is enough there engaging me and making me think that there could be something fun just around the corner. Just finished the prologue of Renegade Refuge. This is definitely not for me. This character is quirky girl trying way too hard, making a ton of pop culture references. There's like a secret agency with witches and magic, and she's throwing a boo-hoo, I just accidentally killed someone fast because my witch mentor is dead. Like, ugh, I hated it. It was awful. This might actually get a 1-star review. It was so unpleasant to me. Definitely not reading that one. Which leaves me just with Island X and the foreword here. Low-key, I'm kind of hoping that this one wins because I really think I want to read something with dinosaurs in it, but we'll have to see. So the foreword on Island X was short enough that I decided to also read chapter 1 because it was like literally 3 page turns. Unfortunately, it's not super compelling writing. The basic premise here seems to be that there's like a secret operation going on an island with dinosaurs. The military people crash land there. They have to surrender their helicopter pilot and they're moving forward with whatever the mission is. It's not a bad premise. Certainly I like Jurassic Park 3, the movie, just fine. But the writing is quite terse, the description's not 100% there, and obviously I haven't connected with any of the characters, they're just like military bros. So unfortunately, I think it's the second worst thing I've read a chapter of, which means first place is going to go to Hammered, and I'm going to download that to read, and I'll probably come meet you guys with my e-reader right after I have a quick lunch. Alright, we're back from lunch. I had a really good homemade spicy miso that maybe I'll put a picture of up here. And me and Haven went and ran around the backyard even though it made her muddy as all get out and involved lots of cleaning. As you might be able to tell, she is not over her zoomies and she's quite mad her dog door is closed up. But I am still going to try to getting some reading in right now, seeing if we can get through a couple stories, maybe give you a couple more thoughts as I go. Okay, so I'm at chapter 7. A lot has happened. There is a ton of trouble because of this house they're trying to house flip. It looks like the military is going to be involved because her father fought some military people while defending her mother, apparently. He's in military prison and she doesn't trust authority. Nor do I think, as a minority person forced to live in secret about her heritage, should she trust the army or the military. Now they're offering her a contract job to like keep her out of jail because she does some vigilante work sometimes and also to like make use of her talents. I've got to say, the military woman who came in to talk to her did come off as really dismissive when she was like, I have a job, and she was like, house flipping? Gross. Totally undervaluing your skills. Like, violence is not the only way to use a skill set, girly. I don't like that. And also, I really don't like this will work for the military, work for the oppressors, better to work with the system than against it. Granted, our main character does not agree with that advice right now, but I am concerned that it is inevitable she's going to join up with them, and I'm not down for that. I'm going to give it a little bit longer to see if she finds a way to work around being trapped within the system, or if she finds a way to manipulate them to her own ends. But I do not want her to come out at the end of this working as an independent contractor for the military. It's been about a week since I finished the Read What You Own challenge for April, and I want to come back and sort of like wrap it all up for you guys. I did finish the one book I was reading, Hammered, the same day I started, and overall I enjoyed it. It's a fine beginning to a series, although I don't know if I'm actually interested in reading any further. As a standalone, I think it also works pretty well because it's got a beginning, middle, and end. There's some open-ended questions like what's going on with her protagonist's mother, where is she, does this girl have like any extra roles in like a dwarf land somewhere. But you could see it just as like the beginning, middle, and end to the mystery within this one house and like the relationship she formed during this, and just sort of be satisfied. And I think that's where I'm personally at with this story, but the rest is available on Kindle Unlimited if I ever want to circle back to it. I attempted to read more from Island X because I really love dinosaurs and I wanted this story to work for me. I got all the way to chapter 4 or 5 where I just realized there was nothing in me that wanted to keep reading. Like, I don't know that there's any amount of cool dinosaurs that could counterbalance this well. Of what I tried a chapter on, I'm definitely never going back to Renegade Refuge. I hated my time in that book and I would definitely negatively review that. I'm a little more open-ended on Dreamwalker. There's not enough captivating there that makes me comfortable reading a book that seems to have a Black protagonist written by non-Black people. I don't know, if this story had been doing something phenomenal, or if this had been an own voices story, I would definitely be interested in continuing to read it. It might have even edged Hammered out to get the full read, but as it is currently standing, my like general discomfort level with putting a Black character on a cover and making that feel like that's a major selling point when it's not really own voices leaves me feeling vaguely uncomfortable, and it's sort of like a jumbled mess when you read the first chapter. There's just way too much that it's approaching. I think we could have totally done without the furry mood bracelet, also sentient creature aspect of the story, at least for a little while longer, and I think we could have like better honed in on what she's doing, why she's doing it, and streamlined it a little better in the first chapter. Break the water and introduce me here to some things instead of like smash cutting a lot of things together while we're like infiltrating a system. End of all of these books, I am most interested in actually trying to check out Echoes of Angels another time. I don't know if this is like literally angels took over the universe and that's what these people are hiding from, but I'm sort of curious about a space opera, sci-fi sort of experience. I was just intrigued enough that like here a week later I'm still thinking a little bit about the characters and what they might or might not be doing. Granted, I don't know a lot, so depending on what's going on I might DNF this book pretty quickly, but I think it's actually probably going to stay on the TBR and be something I try to get to later on in the year. So overall, I tried a chapter of 5 different books, I completed 1 and ended up rating 3 of them. I think that was pretty successful for a monthly read what you own kind of thing where I was reading a bunch of other books too. But talk to me in those comments down below. What are your reading goals and how are you working on them? And as always, keep reading.